800-951-0592. Joe and Jason here wrapping up a Friday. $10 Liberty still the best buy on the table. They're now $1,200. So two tens at $2,400. A 20 at $2,460. And by the way, just so you know, there's less than 40 at that. Then you got to go upgrades. If someone came in and said, "Hey, I want 520s," you're probably going to be paying on all with all the grades somewhere around 25 and a quarter. That's how few are out there right now. On the $10 side of it, here's the bad part. This is the last 60 to 70. So I'm worried come Monday, it's going to be a lot closer, right, to where the 20s are. But we do have 60 to 70 of them here at 1,200. And then I've got another opportunity. This one's a little more interesting, and I think you're going to see more of these in the future from us. I've got $105 Liberties. These are the quarter ounce pieces. But these are AUs. AUs are almost uncirculated. So these things are going to look, think about this. $5 Liberties, 1866 to 1907. So you're talking 115 to 150-year-old coins that'll look, won't look brand new, but almost brand new. That's how good these will look. And we've got a great opportunity right now. The ones that we normally hear, which are great, they look real nice. You guys know all the stuff we carry. Those are $655, which we can get those if you want, but for another $15, which is really good value. For $670, you can get AU5s. I've got 100 of those. So I've got 100 AU5s at $670. And then, of course, obviously, hey, what's the cheapest thing you got per ounce? It's going to be the half ounce $10 Liberties at $1,200 at 800-951-0592. Cases of Silver Eagles, they're still available, which is a good thing. They're $19,000. Rolls of Silver Eagles, $765. I'm not even going to tell you about $half rolls. There's just not enough. Quarters at $255 a roll. Rolls of dimes at $127.50. And as I told you this morning, the wholesalers are out there saying junk is just disappeared as well. So Jason, very easily here, we could see possibly the whole silver market almost disappear overnight. That because there's not a lot of Silver Eagles out there either right now. It just is what it is.
Yeah, I think half dollars are moving into that place where the silver dollars are, the premiums versus the spot price. It's decoupling even more and more this is just every year. Set aside the situation the last few years, but so those half dollars is about as cheap as they're going to get, and I have a feeling they're going to be. We try to get silver dollars on it. Yeah, don't miss it.
$37.75 an ounce on half dollars. That's right there with Silver Eagles. That is how high the premiums are, and what they're saying is, guess what? We don't got any, even at that price. We don't have any. That's kind of interesting. Hey, a little spicing it up here on a Friday. Why not?
I think Jack is trying to prepare for the next show or something. I don't know. He hit the wrong button. I think something played on the channel.
Hey, I like it. Hey, so you know what? That had a good little beat to it. Getting back to the Saudis. So the Saudi Arabia is joining the Chinese-led political and security bloc. So this is NATO-esque. Right now, it's called the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Saudi Arabia is joining as what they're calling a dialogue partner. They're full members. China, Russia, India, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, all the stands. Iran is expected to become a full member later this year. Isn't it interesting that Saudi Arabia and Iran decided, okay, hey, let's stop being mad at each other, right? They've entered into this, I'll call it a peace agreement. Now it makes sense, doesn't it? Right? All of a sudden, I see. Gotcha. You guys are actually going to start working together with China and Russia. And again, another example of the erosion of the power of the United States. Of course, remember the deals we announced yesterday with Saudi Arabia. They're going to be building that $10 billion refinery, agreeing to another 500 million barrels of crude oil a day. Right after this announcement, Saudi Aramco came out with another announcement that they expect China to essentially buy all additional excess capacity for oil in Saudi Arabia for the next 10 to 20 years. So, Jason, Saudi Arabia essentially saying, hey, any extra crude we got is then going to end up going to China.
Well, I guess if they're using it also, I mean, but yeah, we can make all the oil we need here. We don't really need any of these countries, do we, Joe?
Well, we're not going to listen. We're doing the opposite.
I know, you're shipping it out.
I mean, it makes no sense. You know what? I got to do it because you know what? You said you just keep throwing me off. I got things planned. But Jason is, hey, this is why Jason and I work together, because the guy's smart. He sees a lot of things. But I got to say it. Ford. Ford had a fire at their battery plant. It's funny how these electric batteries, how hard it is to put these things out? Right? You just can't put them out. It took Ford like 6 weeks to even reopen the place. But they just announced, oh, by the way, our electric F-150s, they're raising the price again. Man. Again. Listen to this. Oh, well, let me just say this real quick. The stripped down base model with the crappy batteries, $60,000. You want a deluxe model with a crappy battery? $100,000. You want a real good battery? $125,000. What do you think it's going to be in 5 years? 800-951-0592. Gold's up to 1982. The June contract, which is the one that you're seeing on TV now, the June contract just touched 2,000. The August contract, 2016, October 2033, December 2050. So you got an idea of where gold is headed. By the way, the silver contracts, the December silver contracts, just touched $25. So get your ducks in a row here. The remainder of the $10 liberties. I knew it was going to run out, right? It was only a matter of time, but $1,200. That's still $210, $60 less than a 20, and you can't even get 20. So might as well, the kind of a worthless point there. And then we've got the AU5s, the AU $5 liberties, only $15 at more for an AU5. That's at $670. I got about 100 of those at 800-951-0592. And as promised, Barclays yesterday said that they expect the second wave of deposit withdrawals or outflows in the coming weeks. They think the first wave is about over. Okay, so this is the wave that we saw over the last 3 weeks. But they said that the first wave has awakened. They used a different word. I used the word lazy. All you lazy people out there were listening about this banking crisis, but didn't do anything to protect yourself. What Barclays is saying is you're paying attention now, which I agree, right, Jason? Sleepy, lazy, either way, all of a sudden you're thinking about it because you weren't thinking about it before, but you're thinking about it now. But here's what they think is going to happen is that they are going to be enticed by the better paying money market funds. And I'll say this about the money markets. They're not as safe as people would lead you to believe. That's why if you're going to do it with a non-banking institution. I'll tell you, call Joey. I keep saying it, right? Especially somebody that isn't publicly traded, even better. Because listen, when you're a banking institution, when you're publicly traded, Jason, you inherently do what? Take more risk. But this is what Barclays is saying. They said that, well, market psychology is fragile. Our sense is that deposit outflows from small to large banks. So interesting now. They're saying, hey, even the large banks are going to start to fade again as depositors recognize they can access and transfer their balances into money markets. It's hard to shift balances or establish a new relationship with another institution. Right? That's always the problem, right? It's a pain in the butt, right? Setting up new bank accounts sucks. But here's what Barclays said. It sucks less, Jason, when you can offer a better rate of return. Right? So right now, I know from Joe, I talked to Joey this morning at Northwestern Mutual, they're offering 4.5% on their money market accounts. And for Jason, you know, a lot of these banks aren't paying diddly squat. Barclays is saying, hey, these sleepy depositors, they may be getting motivated here. And of course, if you're right and the Fed raises rates again in May, that 4.5% could go up.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. I just, one of the reasons I like gold is because it's in your hands. Paper investments, it's just, it's just human nature, Joe. Investing somebody else's money, you'll be more riskier with somebody else's. That's just human nature. If it's your own money, you guys say, wait a minute. Right. Yeah, wait, this is my money. And so when I was trying to get a quote out while you're reading it, right? Yeah, I was trying to get a quote from Andrew Jackson out, which is talking about the central banks of his time, and essentially the quote goes something to the lines of when you the bankers speculate and you win when you're right, you divide the profits amongst you, but when you gamble and fail, you charge it to the bank. You're a den of vipers and thieves, and that's exactly what this is, Joe. You're just showing it that, look, your money is not important to them. It's just a bargaining chip on the gambling table. It's just easier for them to do it because it's not theirs.
And think about it like this: a business guy. Hey, I want to. Well, you got to put some skin in the game, right? You don't have any skin in the game, right? You're going to be more reckless, right? You always are. Like, hey, if I'm spending somebody else's money, right? I'm going to be a little more reckless. When I'm spending my money, yeah, no, I'm going to. You know what? I'm going to make sure. Before I spend my money, I'm going to make sure I'm going to win, right? You know what I'm saying? If it's somebody else's money, hey, I could win, I could lose. Oh, well.
Right. It doesn't, and when you do good, you can get a nice little bonus, right? You win. But if you lose, how often does the broker say, well, when you lose, it comes out of my pocket too? Does that ever happen, Joe? I don't think there is such a thing. Is there? If the broker doesn't say, if you lose, I lose with you. I don't think that happens.
Yeah, you know what? It really is a great way of looking at it. And that's really what we have with the banks. And especially right when you're traded on Wall Street, you're almost forced into it, right? Because what do the investors want? I want returns. And if
Yeah.
one bank is risky and gets big returns, the investors at all the other banks, they want those returns. That's just how it works. That's why you buy gold and silver. That's why you be your own bank, be your own central bank. Put that gold away. 800-951-0592. We're going to wrap up with silver talk. I know silver's hard to get, but where's silver going next? 800-951-0592. Just quick, by the way, if you want to sell 20s, I'm paying $100 over. $100 over spot on 20s if you want to sell. We'll start there and see what happens. But I told you we would talk about silver. Lombardi, he does a great job. The Lombardi report. He's a big into silver demand. And he just came out with his latest. 2022 was a record. And this is total silver consumption, not just industrial, but physical, all that, 38,000 tons. So far through March, and this was through 2 days ago, the 29th of March. Silver demand is up 16% from that level. So that will be a new all-time record when we look at silver demand in 2023. Not to be outdone, demand for the coins, right, which we do coins and bars, it was up 18% in 2022. Of course, we talked about India becoming a major silver consumer. They've always been a huge gold consumer. Consumption of silver coins in India doubled. Wow, right? Doubled. Also silver jewelry demand up 30% as well. When they talk about usage and what's going on for demand, we know with the electric, with solar, all the vehicles, Europe announced, hey, no more gas or diesel. No, we won't sell any gas or diesel vehicles after 2035. Right? California's got the same rules. Look at the price of these electric cars. They're going to be so expensive. Jeep, the head of Jeep came out, just so you know, the other day and said, will anybody please pay attention? There is not enough materials out there to build all these electric vehicles, but nobody's going to listen. And guess what? They won't have to worry about it. They're not going to sell that many because the entry price, the cheap one is going to be over $100,000, and the nice one's going to be over $200,000. You wait and see. But Jason, he started talking about silver ratios. And again, right now, gold to silver ratio, it's in the 80s. You know, everyone's got a different value for fair value. I say 65 ounces. A lot of people say 50. Lombardi goes and says, hey, listen, at 40 ounces of silver to an ounce of gold, that means silver's overvalued. But if you took the current price right now, Jason, that would put silver at $50. Even at my ratio, at 65, I say, hey, silver's not overvalued at all. That's just where I think it should be. That still puts silver at almost $31 an ounce. And right now it's at 24 and a quarter. There's a lot of room here. And demand continues to say it needs to go higher. And I will say this, I know for a fact the supplies at the COMEX, the supplies in London are half of what they used to be.
Well, and that's why the price will go over $50 an ounce, right? I mean, that's supply and demand. That's it. I mean, and we know it's going to go over $50 an ounce. We know gold is going to go below past 2,000 and be heading towards 3,000, and it's why you should buy this stuff now, because even though gold stays with inflation, Joe, there are these times where it blasts up really quickly when you could have really made some ground by buying it just even a few days or a few weeks early, Joe.
Yep, absolutely. Jason and I were coming right back with the short version of the half empty cup. Glenn wants to talk about the Donald Trump indictments. I know a lot of you out there want to hear about it, so we're going to talk about it at least for an hour on the half empty cup.